Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Wild Yoga Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Lily Allen Duenas. Together, we'll talk about the world of yoga and we'll talk to people from around the world. Before diving into the episode, I wanted to invite you to head on over to my Patreon account. I would love your support, and I'm thrilled to have this beautiful community space where we can do yoga together, meditate together, and you'll get access to exclusive content. Get ready for some private Zoom Q&As, free printable art, meditation recordings, and more. Follow the link in the show notes to get started, or head on over to any of my social media channels or my website, wildyogatribe.com, to hang out, get to know each other better, and find out more about all the support and resources available to you. Ready to dive in? Let's get started. Namaste, family, and welcome back to the Wild Yoga Tribe podcast. I'm so excited today to welcome Michel Uranga Briñas onto the show today. He's a yoga teacher from Cuba who mainly teaches Kundalini yoga, though he occasionally does teach Hatha yoga as well. He's been teaching yoga in Cuba for 9 years. So thank you so much, Michel, for joining me on the show today. So to get started, how did yoga first come into your life? How did you first find out about yoga?
Yes, it's a very interesting story because I find yoga then to discover Thai massage. And I get in love in this therapy, so I decide to discover everything about Thai massage. And the story in these therapies comes from Chinese medicine. So I start my first classes in the heart of this system. So at the same time, I follow the ability and the professional between Thai massage and yoga teacher.
Oh, amazing. I love that you became a Thai massage therapist at the same time, around the same time as a yoga teacher. And I know you did your yoga teacher training in Kundalini in Mexico. Is that right?
Yes, the school comes from Mexico.
Okay. What was that like to do the training there?
I don't receive the training in Mexico. The Mexican teacher come to Cuba and they stay here for 6 months frequently. So for once week in a month, we get in a kind of retreat for training every day from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. So it was very hard. And the rest of the month was study and make experience for the next visit.
Oh, yeah, that does sound more intense.
Yeah, it was very intense.
Yeah, and you studied Japanese medicine and the shiatsu method. Where did you study that?
Here in Cuba, I think all my study about the knowledge is very unusual because in this case of Chinese about Japanese medicine is because I discovered this teacher who lived here and is therapist for 20, 30 years. And he was the child of the woman who was working cleaner the hospital. And at that time, coming the Japanese medicine from Japan to the one of the most popular hospital in Havana for training doctors here. So finally, the only people who know Japanese medicine in Cuba, it was my teacher, and he's not a doctor. Every doctor in Cuba don't learn nothing about it. And he decides 7 years ago teach his knowledge. And I have the very good luck for know about him. And I received the training for 3 years.
Oh, that is great luck. And there's not many people left who know that type of medicine.
Yes.
For sure. So it's such a gift to be able to study with someone who really knows.
Yeah, you're right. This system is very extensive. Chinese medicine in this system that I know is about acupuncture, moxibustion, cupping, chiropractic, and the shiatsu massage. It's all about this. It's about the Japanese medicine. So I have a lot of different technique in this kind of therapy. So it's very extensive. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. And so, for some of our listeners who don't know what the shiatsu method is, do you want to define that or describe that for us?
Shiatsu massage is very similar to Thai massage. The difference between to Thai or twin up, maybe twin up is the Chinese massage. It's the way, the style. For example, let me talk about Thai massage for explain shiatsu. Thai massage is almost the same technique that comes from Chinese medicine about twin ups. And Thai have a dance in the style of the movement when you treat the people. The classic Thai massage is more stretching and manipulation and less pressure and acupressure. So shiatsu massage is the same technique with different protocol because Chinese medicine was making for different and it's around 19% pressure and acupressure and 10% manipulation and stretching. And you don't like a dancing when you do Thai massage. You manipulate more in more static way. So it's the way in shiatsu, but it's the same pressure, the same manipulation, but change the protocol and change the style and the movement.
Yeah. Is it more fast paced shiatsu?
Yes, it's more fast and it's more painful because time shiatsu massage is about a little pain because the sensor who receive the information in the mind react more fast when you pressure more strong, when you spin strong and faster, and the healness change and go fast. And shiatsu means powerful fingers, you know? So it's about the fingers and the pressure with fingers.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that it's translated to powerful fingers. That's very cool. And I also know, Michel, that you teach Kundalini yoga. So some of our listeners might have tried that, and some of them might not have ever tried Kundalini before. Can you tell us why you wanted to learn Kundalini? Like, why that practice? And what is Kundalini yoga?
Kundalini yoga is the yoga knowledge, the conscience yoga is one of the first yoga in the story, and Kundalini don't lose the secret and the real experience through the life. Yoga was adapted with the new times and for the minds of people. And nowadays, there is a lot of yoga very nice that you can practice and you feel more relaxed and your body change and everything about mind and a lot about body. So Kundalini yoga don't change at all. It's the inner of the heart and is more about the spirituality and energy and the real object. Yoga was born because human beings was the necessity for connected with the universe for the life. Of course, when you do yoga for this object, you have to use the body and body change. So it's very good for body, for illness. But the point of yoga is the conscious. So Kundalini yoga is the yoga consciousness. The point of Kundalini yoga is because you have to breathe in particular way, in a particular time, with a particular asanas in the exactly angles and triangles. And you really know what changing in your mind and your body. You don't yoga when you do Kundalini yoga. You never do yoga because you're gonna feel more relaxing and you're gonna make a better body. When you do Kundalini yoga, you know what exactly you change in your mind and your body. So you have a line in your life and you just know what you have to get. You do the kriya. Kriya is the way that you call in kind of exercise in particular order and you get something that you want.
So, why out of all of the yogas did you choose Kundalini?
I choose Kundalini because knowing all of this that I explain you, I think the necessity of humanity right now in this time of the story, in this century, is people need in less time that you can get more benefits in less time. Can I say what?
Yeah. So, there's maximum benefits, the most amount of benefits in a shorter amount of time.
Exactly. Thanks. You have the perfect word. Yes.
No, English is my first language, so it's a little easier for me. You're doing great,
I know
Michel.
that sometimes it's very difficult to explain with the correct phrases in English.
Yeah, no
So
problem.
you're right. So this is Kundalini. So for example, when I wake up in the morning, sometimes I don't need more than 5 or 10 minutes to get what I needed to live my day and every day in my life in the limit with correct energy, with the top of my mind and with my body in a perfect heal.
So you're saying you just need 5 to 10 minutes some mornings with Kundalini yoga to feel ready for your day, to feel like you got what you needed out of your yoga practice.
Yes. And of course, this is because I'm a yoga teacher and I have more secrets that the rest of my students. For example, because I receive a training, so I have more information. So I'm more experienced. When I teach Kundalini Yoga, my classes is about 1 hour. I know a lot of yoga teachers that have 2 hours to 2 hours enough in a half. But for me, 1 hour is too much. But when I teach less to 1 hour, it's not possible. But for myself, 5 to 10 minutes is enough. I don't need more. But I do it every day.
Very interesting that you think when you teach, you have to teach more than an hour for your students to really receive the benefits, but that you yourself, you only need 5 to 10 minutes.
Yes. And I try to teach my students in 1 hour to teach them that they have they try to have the experience in themselves in similar to myself because 1, 2, 3 sections in a week is very good. It's more than nothing. But people out the classes practice every day for themselves, 5, 10 minutes, they're gonna receive the benefits, the maximum experience.
Yeah. So, also, Michelle, what is your definition of yoga? I know that there's a lot of sutras, a lot of texts, a lot of definitions out there for us to read and to learn and to know. But what is your definition of yoga?
My definitions about yoga is more simple than books and videos and whatever. I think yoga is just a word who define the art of life, 90% more or less, only their life with art. So it's because human beings suffer a lot and they stress a lot. Then to stress, they have a lot of sickness. So if you understand that life is an art, you understand that yoga practice is a training about life. So if you train real yoga, not fitness yoga, you train yourself about life. And this is yoga for me. When you understand the life and you can live the best way, in the best way.
So, Michelle, also, I would love to hear about yoga in Cuba. What is yoga like over there?
Yeah, yoga in Cuba exists around 30 years ago, but it wasn't too popular. So most of the people, general of people, didn't know about the existence in yoga in Cuba. So when I started to practice yoga, it wasn't a little difficult because I know some people who know about yoga, but a lot of friends of mine and people who is on the street or in any places nowadays doesn't have nothing about yoga. They don't have to yoga exists in Cuba. My work here and I feel very good with my work because nowadays yoga in Cuba is a little more popular thanks to new teacher, young teacher who insert yoga in social media in Cuba, and nowadays more people know about the existence of yoga in Cuba. But for a lot of time, it wasn't too popular.
Okay, and so now, are there a lot of yoga studios in Cuba?
No, there isn't. So even in my case, I haven't yoga studio right now. I haven't for 5 years, but it's very stressful because political here in Cuba is not easy. So it's very difficult to rent space or take your own space for yoga studio. So right now exists 1, 2, 3 yoga studio in Havana, maybe in another city in Cuba, 2 or 3 studios, but no more. It's very difficult to find yoga studio in Cuba.
Okay, so it's very important the work you're doing,
Yeah.
having more people know what yoga is and introducing more people to the practice. Now, is it a lot of young people who are coming to classes?
I have a lot of different people in my classes coming, a lot of young people. Women, men is not common, but in my classes, I have a lot of friends who come in with me. I don't have yoga studio, but I use my country's Caribbean place. So we have a beautiful place in front of the sea in nature place, and I teach a lot outside.
Nothing's better than beach and mountain yoga. That's amazing.
And nowadays, for my experience, I would like to take a yoga studio, but I love it more to teach in the natural place. I love it, and my students love more than me.
Oh, that's wonderful. And so, for some of our listeners who don't know much about Cuba, can you tell us more about your country?
Cuba is a difficult country, I have to say it. Have a lot of difficult things, bad things, I think, because it's a difficult country where nothing happens. It's the perfect place for train the spirit. People in Cuba is not happy, a lot of people. We have seen a time that everybody live from Cuba right now. A lot of young people live from Cuba, live in other countries, United States, in Europe, Spain, Italy, France, whatever place, because live here is not an option for young people because we don't have expectation for develop or grow the professional things. Everything is about the politics. We have a very bad government for 62 years. And nowadays, everybody is wake up about this reality and the country, the people do things for change our reality, but it's very difficult because the country is controlled for the military. So it's very difficult to change the things if you don't have the idea for change, for do different things. If they control everything, they control everything about Cuba. Everything, even the project, the owner project, the people who work for themselves, for example, like me, I don't work for government, but I can work because they are not interested about me because if they're interested about me, I don't work. So they control everything about it. So it's very difficult to be here. If someone do something special in this country, is because this person is very big in their heart and in their mind, because nothing happened, nothing coming. I don't know what more to say.
It sounds very difficult, especially with the politics and with the limitations, like being so restricted. That must be very hard.
Yeah, it's very hard. In my case, like a yoga teacher who tried to be the experience of the spirit and the mind, really is not too hard by me, but I understand the reality mind of the rest of the people, the common people, and it's very hard.
And so, Michel, I think some of our listeners today probably were really interested in what you're talking about and maybe have a question or want to learn more about you. So I'm definitely going to link your Instagram, your Facebook, and your website in the show notes here. So if anyone's listening to this podcast, just open the show notes and you can click on Michel's link. And also you can go to my website, wildyogatribe.com/yoga in Cuba, and you can find tons more information about Michel as well. So Michel, do you want to say anything about how people can get in touch with you?
They have Instagram and Facebook. We make the website, but it's in process. But Instagram page is Agatha Yoga Retreat, and in Facebook is Agatha Yoga. The logo is violet. Violet is violet. It's represent the tones of Agatha. Agatha is an energetic tones. In this page, we're going to put in the near future the new social media, the website, the YouTube page. We're working about Thai massage course online. For 6 years, I teach Thai massage yoga face to face, and we try to work in this context. But nowadays, we don't have nothing finished. I think in this year, we haven't more new information and page for people who are interested in follow me and follow my project. Make a lot of retreats in the city and in the mountain, and we are opening to receive people to other countries also. We do it with some American people and Spain people sometimes, but we're working more with Cuban.
Amazing. That's very exciting to know. Having another place to think about to go for a yoga retreat is always a good thing. So thank you so much, Michel, for joining me on the show today. It's been a joy to be with you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to share you.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Wild Yoga Tribe podcast. My conversation with Michel Uranga Briñas, a yoga teacher from Cuba, was so vibrant as we took a deep dive into what Kundalini yoga is and the history behind it. I hope that this conversation also made you curious about shiatsu massage and Thai massage and how those two are different and similar. If you're looking to tune into a podcast episode that's all about yoga in Cuba, then this is the conversation for you. Thank you for listening to the Wild Yoga Tribe podcast. Be well. Thank you for the gift of your attention today. If you feel called, please share this episode with someone who you think could benefit from it. Leaving a review would also be so appreciated. I also hope you can join me online on my website, wildyogatribe.com, or on social media. I would love to get to know you better. I would love to share with you and to hear your thoughts. Send me a DM, send me a note, get in touch. It would be great to hear from you. And as always, be well, dear one, be well.